and welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live with Bob
and Josh.
It is a lovely Friday evening here in the state of Georgia, and I'm pretty sure some places may have some rain, storms, or
wherever you are around the country.
Wherever you're at, whatever's going on. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, of somebody you say. Welcome to Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh tonight. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. And I'll tell you, our special guests, both of those guys are I'm telling you, Josh, what is it? What they call that?
I'm not sure. So many things you can
knock
say.
out the ball, whatever they call that.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, we got some heavy duty hitters tonight on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, you could leave your messages. And if you want to have a question for our guests that are on tonight, you can type your question in, and we will be glad to get your questions and ask questions to our guests. And ladies and gentlemen, first of all, Josh, welcome to the show. It's been a great day today.
Yeah, man. Good evening, everybody coming in, wherever you may be, however you may be checking us out. Appreciate y'all for coming in because we got a loaded show. We've been talking about it all day, posting about it on social media, and definitely looking forward to getting these guests in to talk about what we're going to talk about. We're talking about DEI. We're talking about the National Guard. When it comes to those are some of the main topics we're going to hit on today. So, without any further ado, yes, sir. That's what I said.
DEI,
National Guard.
DEI is a very, very good topic that we need to hit up. Probably a lot of people don't know what's going on with that. And we'll get into that right. That'll be our first topic. Josh, let's get it on.
Let's get it on. And shout out to everybody coming in. Frankie, Chris, Robert Lee, everybody's coming in. Go ahead and say hello to us in the comments. Hit the like button. Share the video as well, wherever you may be, however you may be listening or watching. Right here on TalkBack Live Network on YouTube. Also TalkBack Live with Bob and Josh on Facebook if you want to share those places as well. So about to get into the conversation, man. But Bob, we can go ahead if you want and introduce both guests here. So we can go right straight into it.
Fact, let's go straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight, first of all, let's introduce a dear friend of ours, and he's been a friend of ours for such a long time, and we appreciate him joining us in public and private conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show Dr. Pastor Frederick Tappan. He is the pastor of the Eureka True Vine Baptist Church out of Memphis, Tennessee, and also he's a candidate for the Shelby County School Board in District 6, right there in Memphis, Tennessee. Pastor Tappan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. It is an honor and a blessing to be on the show tonight. And my friends, my brothers, and I consider my family. And I surely appreciate this opportunity to share my views with your eclectic audience.
Okay, shout out to eclectic, and we're gonna work on that.
Great. Are you on the speakerphone or are you on the regular phone?
There's only one way to do it. It doesn't have a speaker option.
Okay.
But it may be the mic on the phone. But either way, we can keep it rolling because we can hear you.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, our next guest.
Sound is kind of
Our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, I've known this guy for some time, and he's I met this guy when I was doing gospel radio announcer back in Jackson, Tennessee, years ago. And he came in. I started hosting the talk show, and then I just didn't have the time, and I didn't have the wherewithal to be able to, after a whole day of playing gospel music, and to sit in and interview these people effectively. So they reached out and got a guy to come in, and ladies and gentlemen, I mean, he's still knocking it out the ballpark. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Attorney Richard Donnell, my friend, and we're glad to have him on the show. Also, let me not forget, he is advisor to the president of Lane College, senior advisor to the president of Lane College, and he's also city councilman at District 4 in the city of Jackson. You already see right there, he's got his plate loaded. Attorney Donnell, welcome to the show. All right. And guys, look, we got some things. Can y'all hear us pretty well?
Yeah, I hear you guys well.
Okay. All right. Listen, guys, we got a lot of things to talk about as far as DEI is concerned. And we want to go into that. Josh, a lot of things we've been talking about DEI, and we heard some other people talk about it. And what is DEI? Why DEI? What's the purpose of DEI? I mean, is it robbing people of better blessings using DEI, or is it a blessing? And but we want to get into that tonight and see what our guest has to say about that tonight. Josh?
Yeah. So when you talk about DEI, right? And I know I've been looking forward to talking with everybody on about this because not only just the question about it, but it's been under attack. Whether you're for it or against it, it's definitely been something that the current presidential administration has been trying to get rid of. And he's been very vocal about it as well. When you talk about the different programs at universities, the different things as far as hiring practices, it's been a big debate across the board when it comes to those things. But I'm curious, first of all, and I want to start, if you don't mind, about start with Attorney Donnell. Yes, and get because we don't get into all the things. I know Bob definitely got a thing, but I just
let me say this before Attorney Donnell speaks. I know he's got a lot to say. When you look at DEI, when you look at it, is it really robbing the black community of better equality and when it comes to jobs? Because it's like, okay, yeah, okay, we got to fill a position with one black guy, so we'll put a black guy in the position or a black woman in the position just because we've got to have that. Uh, and the other question is the thing that some people have been saying is that you're putting black people in these positions or whoever, but they're not qualified. You just want to put them in there because it calls for a black person or somebody of
that's
color.
Assumption.
You know, that's the assumption that they say. For instance, you remember the situation, Josh, about Kirk? What's his name?
Yeah,
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
He mentioned about was it a black pilot?
Yeah, well, matter of fact, I have that clip. It's like
okay,
so.
all right.
And
if you guys hang on just a minute, we want to play this clip.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to say, Attorney Donnell, if you can do a quick, make sure we can hear you again. Okay. All right, cool.
I can hear him too.
All right. So what I want to do is play a clip here. So y'all hold on just a second. And we'll be back. So y'all watch this.
Watch. Take a look at this. Listen.
Affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do.
Accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words.
If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
Oh. All right. You hear the vice president says one thing. He says Charlie didn't say, but then Charlie turns around and says exactly what the vice president said that he did not say.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. So, I mean, and let's go to Richard Donnell first. Richard, what do you think? Your opinion on DEI?
Yeah, this Yeah, DEI is the outgrowth of affirmative action. And all those kind of programs that would replace a qualified white person with a unqualified black person. What DEI does is open the playing field so that people in the minority can have an equal opportunity to come into a position and they can still improve if they are qualified for it. It does not in any way place an unqualified person into a position. It only allows that person an opportunity to show what he and she can do, to show that they are qualified for position. So all the stuff they're talking about, things that they come up with to promote and to hire unqualified black people, that's total bull sugar. That bull sugar, what that is.
Okay, so you you go ahead.
That's the word that I've coined. That's the word that I've coined for what I really mean.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean. Definitely. So what you think, Doc? So like, I know what you was about to say.
Yeah, so you think that black pilots, black female pilots, or black business people, they're just put in positions, they're not qualified, or
that's the opposite.
you know? Go ahead.
Not at all. Not at all. Again, that's what they say, and now I kind of believe that they may believe that, but it's totally untrue. It's just like I always give an example. What DEI does, as I said, is a platform where you can prove what you can do. It goes back to this example. You have a race, a relay race, 4 miles, 100 or whatever it is, and you have white people in one lane, you have black people in another lane. The white people in their lane, they are able to run unfettered, but the black person who starts the race has a 20-pound ball around his leg. And then they start the gun, and then after maybe 5 or 6 seconds, the white guy is at the 50-yard line, but the black guy is at the 10-yard line. Why? Because he's bogged down with this weight, the weight of racism. So in order to make it fair, a lot of white people leave what to do to stop the race where it is.
Attorney, you're saying even though he's qualified, they're not letting them do what they're supposed to do or what they're qualified to do. They're just not
they're getting passed over.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
No, nothing at all. Here's the example I was given. After a few seconds, the white guy's at the 50-yard line, the black guy's at the 20-yard line, because he has the ball around his leg. But after you call the race, you stop it because you say, well, that's not fair. Well, a lot of white people believe what you do to make it fair, you just take the ball of racism off of the black guy and then resume the race.
Yeah, okay, so the ball, the ball that they put around the black person is hindering him, right?
Yeah, it's hindering him.
Okay.
And that's why, to make it fair, what you do is take the ball off of the black person and then bring the white guy back, or either advance the black guy so that they're together, then start the race, and the winner wins. You don't put anybody in front of anybody else, start the race over where they're at the same place, and the person with the best qualifications will win the race. That's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what DEI does. DEI simply gives black people or minorities an opportunity to win or lose a fair race. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, let me get Dr. Tappan in here and give his opinion. I got another thing I'm going to ask you guys too. Dr. Fred Tappan, what's your opinion on DEI? What do you think?
Well, I did a deep dive into both DEI and affirmative action. And this is just one man's opinion. And, everyone can have their own. But according to the research that I've done, DEI is more culturally based. Affirmative action was more workplace and school education based. They both sought or seek to do very similar things, but affirmative action didn't deal with cultural issues like DEI did. One of the biggest differences that I saw in looking at taking a panoramic view of both entities was the addition of the LGBTQ in DEI, whereas it was not a part of affirmative action. Affirmative action dealt more with increasing the pool and giving an equal. Okay, first of all, we have to deal with whites are about 70% of the population of the United States. Blacks are about 12%. So uh, affirmative action sought to kind of level that playing field in relation to uh, the discrimination that African Americans have experienced down through the years. It sought to equalize the playing field. It was never meant to be permanent, but it was meant to, at some point, get employers to the point where they no longer look at race as a detriment or a positive. Look, you look at your workplace, and if 99% of the people are white, then you need to look at your hiring practices. Are you excluding them just because they're a minority, or are you excluding them because they weren't qualified? Lowering qualifications were never a part of affirmative action. That has been a lie that has been perpetrated by individuals that, yes.
Yeah, hang on just a minute. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Hold on just a minute.
Let's come on that end. But
Yeah, let's see if we can get this right. I know to me it sounds bad. I don't know if it's maybe not. Richard Donnell, can you hear it pretty good?
Yeah, it's bad on my end too to hear him.
Yes, but I can hear you and Josh fine, but I can barely hear the attorney.
Okay.
And so I moved the phone closer to my voice, and I guess it's still not.
you can definitely hear you. It's like a little distortion.
Yeah. Let's take a short break. Let's take a break here and maybe a few moments of silence or whatever Josh may want to do there. And then we're going to try to straighten this situation out. We'll be back in just a minute. We're talking to Dr. Frederick Tevin, and we're talking to attorney Richard Donnell out of Jackson, Tennessee. Yeah. What is it? You're listening to Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. let's see if we can get some better communications. Can we hear each other now? Attorney Darnell.
Yeah.
Okay, you sound much better, sir. Make sure your volume is all the way up on your phone there.
Okay, it is.
Okay, Pastor Tappan.
He's not. I don't see him here yet. So, but we'll see if we can get him back. But if we can continue the convo as is, I don't know if we can. If you want to text Fred there,
I'll get it back.
yeah, they get him back in. But so, kind of continue the convo a little bit before we get wait on Fred to come back. But attorney does sound a lot better. Shout out to y'all in the comments, letting us know about everything. We do appreciate it greatly.
We really do.
About that, because we do want the best quality of sound, especially a show like this. We looking forward to today, but you know, this stuff kind of happens there sometimes. But I can't. But have to unplug it there. Let's see.
Call us straight in.
He's talking.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really because there's only one phone.
Okay. No, just go back to the other thing again, and we'll just hear your voice. See how that works again. Okay. Okay.
I don't see you. Like he's not there.
I don't see you there. Okay. All right, folks. You're
working it out on there.
Yeah, you're experiencing live technical difficulties. We're not happy about that, though. Attorney Darnell, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you, sir.
Okay, that's apologies accepted.
Well, you sound good now.
Yeah, sound smooth on there.
Okay, well, I'll get some on y'all's end because I didn't change anything.
Okay. Yeah, I think I switched the cord around, so hopefully that can stay that way. But let's just like straight to it.
Yeah,
right?
let's go.
And
where were we?
I'm about to get to it right for you there. So I guess to me, when you look at the state of things right now, and the whole reason that we're even bringing up DEI in the first place at the moment, there he is. It gave him an announcement there. The system. Let's see. There he is. All right, Fred. It announced your name. I didn't even know the system would do that. It said, okay.
Oh, you sound much better, Fred.
Okay, good.
That is
now we're rolling.
He got the spotlight and everything. So
I know. I just cut it off.
Okay. All right. So getting into the whole thing, we're talking about DEI. And y'all saw, I don't know if Fred saw, I know Donnell probably heard it, the clip from Charlie Kirk. And, you know, that's clearly been a very controversial figure as of late, really his whole career as a, commentator and everything. But then some of his thoughts in the past have kind of come to light, and that started the DEI conversation once again. I want to play one more thing. And this, which we saw actually live on TV. Me and Bob were both watching on CNN, a pretty staunch debate about DEI and how people feel about it, and whether it's good or bad. So I'm going to get to a certain point here. You had a Representative Clyburn there. You had a guy, several conservatives at the table as well. So it's quite the debate when it comes to Black people and who's qualified, who's not. So I'm gonna play some of this, and even the host of the show gets into a heated conversation about this. So y'all take a look and listen.
Yeah, take a look and listen to this. We'll be back.
Context at all what he was talking about. It was a conversation about affirmative action. You know that, Congressman. This has been well litigated and well debated
Everything
multiple
about Black
times.
people is about affirmative action.
I
And so what's wrong with affirmative action?
No.
Look, you're telling me that when I came out of college and couldn't get a job, that was because I was not qualified?
That's not what I'm saying.
But what are you saying?
What I'm saying is Charlie Kirk was very clear. If these companies openly say that they have to somehow fill a quota of people, whether it be a race or gender, not based on merit, but based on their race or gender, the obvious should be clear to everyone, which is that person then qualified?
So
that's
Justice
an obvious question.
Ketanji
Because of the
Brown.
bar that the corporation itself set up by saying publicly, we're going to do this type of DEI hiring, then you have to wonder, is it because of their race or their gender?
Can I just? That's not what it is.
Hold on a second.
That's not what it is.
Hogan, why would
You
you
don't
have to
wonder
wonder?
about anything
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
why would you have to wonder that?
Yeah.
The only reason you would wonder that is if you're inclined to believe that nobody can be qualified if they are black and brown going into those roles.
And
also,
that's exactly
but
the
here's
point.
here's one other thing that I think is just a factual dispute with what you're describing. You're suggesting that the standards are lower for people of color filling these roles when there is absolutely
The exact opposite.
no evidence.
The exact opposite.
No, but that's what you said.
No, it
said,
isn't.
Hold on, Hogan. You said that they are only getting these jobs because of their race or gender.
That's not what I
and
said.
not because they are qualified.
Not
So
what
are
I
they
said.
qualified or not?
That's not what I said.
Are they qualified or not?
What I said was
is a pilot sitting in a hold on, Hogan, is a pilot sitting on an airplane, flying a plane, whether he's black or white or a woman or gay or lesbian, if they are sitting in that seat and they meet the FAA requirements for being in that seat, are they qualified?
If they are qualified, I sure hope so.
Are they? But you don't believe that they're qualified
That's not what I
because
said.
of what?
What I said was, if the criteria was their race or gender,
Yeah,
then
but
how am I to know
that's
if the
why I'm telling
qualification
you,
is
Hogan,
there?
that
we
is
had
a
a president of the
factual
United States.
error that
we
you
had
are
a
making.
president of the
Hold
United
on,
States,
Hogan,
and
I
Joe
don't want
Biden,
you to.
who came out and said
Hogan, you're
he
changing.
wanted
Listen, I don't want you to change the subject
woman
because
of
you are
color
making
to be the vice president.
The-
So when I noticed
Hogan, you
that that's
were-
what he said, that's not my
Hold
fault.
on, my
Joe
friend.
Biden said it.
You were in the White House when Donald Trump said he was going to put a woman on the Supreme Court, and then he picked Amy Coney Barrett. Is she not qualified?
She is extremely qualified.
Okay, so why is
why
she
would you-
qualified, but Ketanji Brown Jackson is not?
He talked about the qualification as well.
All right, so that's just some of that there, and that's
Wow.
a lot of back and forth. As y'all can probably see.
So
What's what?
So the fact is that people are saying that DEI is arranged or made or put there so black people can have an opportunity to be able to get jobs or be qualified. That would only make them qualified and get them in certain positions, not their education levels and not their anything that they've done or can do that has made them qualified for it. The only thing that they just need to fill a position with a black face, okay? But in most positions, some people look at it like Mr. Charlie Kirk. I don't want to keep calling what happened, but it's a sad thing that happened. But he says and things like some other people that these people are not qualified. They're just filling a slot just because they're black.
He said Michelle Obama was a DEI. Now he married. She was married to Barack Obama, so I'm not even sure how that was possible for that to be DEI to choose a wife. But I see Fred's expression there. But I'm curious, what do you think about all this?
Yeah,
and
Fred,
just,
then we'll come back to Attorney Donnell. Go ahead, Fred.
Well, as I was aforementioning, I wanted to be decently versed on both.
mm-hmm.
And as far as my research is concerned, DEI deals more with cultural changes.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmative action dealt more with workplace and education place, hiring and choices. We have to start at this. So when affirmative action was enacted, African Americans were the majority minority.
Mm-hmm.
And so affirmative action was geared mostly to the African American community. I'm not saying it did not assist with hiring practices in relation to other minorities, but the majority minority at that time was African Americans. We are no longer the majority minority. the majority minority in America are Latinos.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have to change anything in affirmative action to include those racial groups, because what affirmative action was trying to do was to make sure there was a level playing field. Nowhere have I read in any of the articles that I've read was there a lowering of standards in order to hire a person of minority status. Never. I didn't see it at all. What it was to open up the door for those individuals, those minority individuals, to be considered for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Rooney Rule in football. They're
Exactly.
not guaranteeing you a job. The Rooney Rule didn't guarantee you a job, but it guaranteed you an interview. That if you met the qualifications and the standards, that you would be afforded an interview. And so what it did was it gave those minorities, where those interview doors were once completely closed, those interview doors are no longer closed. Doesn't mean you're going to get the job. You have to be qualified. You have to interview well. Everything else is the same. But it went from us not getting an opportunity to even interview for the job or be considered for the job to at least having an opportunity to be considered.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
And so what this guy is saying, and a lot of the far right ideologues are always run that lie in there, that it's about substandard hiring, which is a total lie.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of my information I got from the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school, and these are the standards that they uh, put forth in their explanation and investigation of the two. And so the biggest difference that I see between DEI and affirmative action is that DEI included those that were not racial groups. They included the LGBTQ
Yeah.
and everybody else that's involved in that. That was included. And they dealt more with cultural changes than they did with static changes.
So even to that point, so
Oh, good.
well, yeah, go ahead. Give it turn down there.
Turn it down there. What do you say?
No, I agree with what he said that DEI is more expansive than affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
DEI includes a lot of more protected classes, etc. Like you said, of gays, and other protected groups. But affirmative action, I'm going to push back on Dr. Fred just a little bit about that. Affirmative action, although we think that it only helped to a big extent black people because it was based on race, affirmative action also helped women. Women was a protected class in affirmative action. That's how women have gotten a lot of government contracts, because they are considered to be a protected class under affirmative action. So it just didn't protect just black
Agree with
people.
you, most definitely.
We think it did, but it protected Hispanics as well as women. And that's why there's a lot of distinction now, because a lot of women use that aspect of affirmative action in order to gain more opportunities to do what they needed to do. But again, as I said earlier, affirmative action does not, and DEI does not guarantee a unqualified minority or protected class a job over a qualified white person. It does not do that. It just equals the opportunity for the minority or for the other class of persons to show that he or she can or cannot do the job. That's
Okay.
all it is.
That's
When
it.
Okay, so
people talk about that it pushes unqualified people ahead of qualified people, you just chalk it up to their prejudice, because that's all that is.
so you don't think that they're just putting black people in certain positions because they got a black slot or
No,
okay, well why okay,
that's
some
a
people
quota.
some people are
That's a quota
wondering the
system.
fact, why are there so many white people in positions in certain things, and then there's like, okay, we got a leftover slot, let's put a black person in there, you know, got to remember DEI. And in most cases, Attorney Donnell, it seems to me that it has always been the point of people in the white community to leave the black man out, whether he's qualified or not. Now, I'm saying that to say this: black women are getting more jobs than black men that are qualified, and you wonder why that is. Oh, they hired. They say, okay, they're hiring black people.
Authority of that. I mean, I know you're throwing that out, but what's your source of authority for making a statement like that?
Okay, I didn't quite hear you. You was kind of like going out there.
No, I asked you. You said black women are getting the jobs that black men can get. What's your source of authority for making that statement?
No, I didn't. This is what I meant. I meant black women are getting jobs that black men should be getting. Okay, they don't want. This is what I mean. There's a lot of black men that are qualified for these positions in jobs and titles and presidents and whatever, vice presidents, managers. All right, but it seems to me that the white community, or in most part for the job community, that they'd rather hire a black woman than a black man in most cases. So that's when you look around in a lot of management positions and people in the story, you see a lot of blacks. You say, "Oh, we hired a black," but what is it? It's a black woman. Okay, are they saying, "Okay, we hired a woman and we hired a black"? That takes care of both of those slots.
Well, you know, I was about to say,
or is it that they're afraid to allow the black man to come in because he's the head of the black family? If you if you cut the head off to the black family and only let the black woman get jobs, then that leave the black man is struggling. And it seems like in most cases the black man is not taking care or doing what he's supposed to do to be the head of his household or in the head in the community, because there's more black women that are being hired. But whose fault is that, and why are they doing that?
And let me throw this out there for y'all answer. So I see Frankie in the comments here, and I put up on the screen. It says white men are definitely afraid, and Frankie, of course, she's a black woman. So it says white men are definitely afraid of black women because they are the most educated segment of society. Now, by statistics, that is true. Even over white men, black men, white women, you know, statistically, black women are the most educated. So, can you say that's where do you qualify that? Do you say that they're getting hired just because white folks don't want to hire black men? Or since it looks like they're more educated than everybody else, that's the reason? Or is that even a part of the conversation?
I don't think all of it is the reason because the black woman is more educated. I think they just don't want the black male, the authority figure of the black race to be shown or seen that he's taking care of his responsibility. So if they can cut that out and not hire the black man, then they say, "Oh, look at your man." Oh, it takes a white man to take care of you or to do these things. A black man can't even come in and do nothing. They can't even get a job. But see, look at you. You a black woman. You doing better than the black man is.
You saying that's why Serena Williams remarried the white dude?
I'm not.
Is that what we saying?
I'm not going there. But all I'm saying is, it's something that can
everybody was mad about that.
Psychologically affected on people's minds to make you think that black men are not really qualified. They're only out there in gangs, drinking, drunk, drugs.
Which ain't true. We know.
And, you know, I'm just saying.
But you're saying that's the stereotype.
Yeah, that's the stereotype. Okay.
And they trying to push.
And we're still on DEI.
Yeah, yeah, this is all about it. So, attorney, I want your response to everything that they said there.
No, I'm listening to what Bobby's saying. You know, that's a big theory he's saying. He's not being able to back it up by anything, and he may have a point there. But I do realize that there are a lot of households that are run by women.
Yeah.
You know, the man's down the household not because of the fact that she's pushed him out, it's because of the fact that he's just not there on his own volition. So whether or not the white employer only wishes to hire the black woman because he has some kind of conspiracy and wants to keep the black man out,
Okay, now
Hey, let's
no,
just
no,
I want to let him finish
okay,
for a second.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, attorney.
No, I was finished there. I made my point.
Okay. I disagree as far as the black woman being select because she's the most qualified in the black race. I think the black man there are a lot of black men. You look around, you got black major university, you got black men going to school, the attorneys and all.
But it's a case by case basis.
There's a lot of places that black men are qualified, but you just don't see them out there being shoved in front of the community in jobs, just like they're hiring black women like chicken lay eggs. But
that's a lot.
When you come to talking about a black man, hiring in a certain position in leadership, it's few and far between. You may see one and two or three every now and then.
It depends on the position you're looking for.
And I guess so. But in most cases, you're going to see a black, and I've experienced it throughout my career. I know I have. So it's not that I'm just blowing in the wind.
Yeah. So let me throw this at you. So Robert Lee, shout out to Robert Lee in the comments. He said, "Yes, sir." So it seems like he agrees with you, Bob. Very much so, with the exclamation points. My thing is, what I've seen, and I'm curious what Fred think about all this, but what I've seen is, and I've seen the statistics on this, I don't know the exact percentage, but a lot of y'all know this has been a fact when it comes to DEI in particular. Who has benefited the most? It's not even black women. Black women more than black men. But you know who's benefited the most? White women.
White women?
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
So they get, you would think, okay, black women because you get the double minority. But no, they say, hey, we can keep them white and get a minority.
Yeah.
And that's who benefits. So here's my thing real quick, and this may be controversial because I think it's good to fight for DEI, but at the same time, who has really benefited that much that we're fighting so much for it? I guess that's we as black people, right? We're fighting so much for DEI, and I guess it's better with it than without it to some degree, but not because
it could not be. I mean, in some cases, it may not be
because they still hiring.
If you say, okay, DEI, okay, all right, we got to fill one slot. Okay, so we're going to bring
more than that, but
and fill that slot. Now, if it was equality, to say that, why bring in DEI? Why don't you just if they're equally qualified, why did they have to bring DEI into this thing rather than just letting all people come and fight for the position and let people out? Isn't that the standard was that not enough black people were being hired?
Yeah.
Or is it
that was the reason?
Okay, so
but look, see, they're gonna find.
But why weren't they being hired? So is that them
because they racist?
Is that telling us that we're not qualified, but we have to put you there because DEI?
Okay, because you're going on all sorts of points.
You got the standard wrong, Bob. It's not because not enough black people were being hired. It was because black people were being discriminated against.
Yeah, discriminated.
Well,
that's the reason why.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I know what you're talking about, and I know where you're coming from. That's the same thing I'm talking about. Discriminated against.
They were purposefully not hired because they were of that color. That's the reason how this affirmative action came about. Because of that color, they were purposefully not hired by white people who hold the positions of power. That's easy.
Okay, so what about today? Okay, what about today? You can still have black qualified.
And I want to get to Fred. I want to get to Fred, but I'm gonna just throw one thing real quick.
Yeah,
Frankie, I'll put it on the screen. Y'all saw the comment. She says both of her daughters have master's degrees, plus advanced certifications, and they still had to go over and beyond to get the positions they have. Of course, both her daughters are black women as well. Read another one. Andre Becton says the system has been designed this way for over 50 years. He also says it started with welfare. The black man couldn't be in the house, so the women could feed her family and have a roof over their head. Even then, the black man couldn't get a job then. So let me go to Fred on that.
Whoa, right there. Okay, right there. All right. Okay, why couldn't the black man be in it? Okay, We'll give you food stamps. We'll give you what they call
well, SNAP now.
SNAP or whatever that is.
Yeah.
We'll give the black woman and her kids that, but we're not gonna give anything to the black male now. I mean, we're just not going. And see, even in that area.
Well, no. Look, let me just say. I got you, but just to clear that one thing up, it's I think legally it couldn't like be a 2-parent thing to even get welfare anymore. So you have to just be the woman in the house. You don't even get welfare if they're a family.
Okay, so
if the man's still living there,
I don't know.
No, that's true.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But
okay, is it that way in the White household that are receiving government assistance? I mean,
maybe they're a little blinder on that. I don't know.
Okay,
but
so if my wife started getting government assistance,
you can't be in the house.
I'm gonna have to leave the house.
Well, not that you have to leave, but they ain't gonna get it if y'all together.
Right.
I think you're wrong on that. I think what the standard is that you're talking about is that if a woman were received, if they were unmarried,
okay,
if they were unmarried, then the man could be there. But if it's a married families get a food stamp and get assistance. It's the unmarried part that they were trying to.
Gotcha. Okay. So Fred, I know there's a lot of nodding. Like to hear from the doctor in the building.
Yes. Come on, Fred.
No, I'm just another voice. So let me throw these statistics out. So prior to 1965, and I'm just going to speak about the African American community. Statistics say that 80% of children born were born to 2-parent homes prior to 1965, and it is almost mirrored in the opposite direction today.
Wow.
Where the numbers are, maybe in the mid-30s or maybe less, as far as births in relation to births into 2-parent homes. And I've seen it so many times, being a pastor for 29 years and dealing with people that have been on government assistance. And the attorney was exactly correct. If you are married, then it's based solely on the income of the two.
That's right.
In relation to what you qualify for. But what happened is we had such an increase in single family births that it enhanced the status of the woman if she did have a child out of wedlock to not have the man around, because if the man came around and you were not married, then you would be cut off from all of your assistance. And that kind of go ahead.
Could that be something that started or ignited this single family situation to where
you get more benefits if you're single?
You get more benefits if we're single and we have babies, and I won't have to be in the household, but I'll give you babies so y'all can get more money from government assistance. But the black man says I can't be in the house. So
that's the reality of what has happened. I don't think that's how it started, because let's be honest. The welfare, or let's just use welfare to use a simple title, was never meant to be generational. It was to be a hand up, not a hand out. It was supposed to be a used for a portion of time for those people who were in need, to use for until they could get back on their feet. But what has happened is that the culture changed. And when the culture changed, where unwed mothers stopped being taboo, because back in the day in the black community, they would send, if those daughters would get pregnant before they got married, they'd send those girls somewhere to another city to have those children and come back.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that in my own family, and in friends and relatives' family. I remember in the church, if a girl got pregnant, in a lot of the churches, they had to come before the church and ask for forgiveness, as well as the guy that was involved if he was a member of the church.
Yeah.
But the culture changed so much that it became almost inherent that when young women would have kids out of wedlock, I'm not going to use the term rewarded, but they were granted more money from the federal government, the more children that they had. And anytime they brought the man in and the man was caught there, then they would be cut off. And so it worked extremely detrimentally. And I don't think that's how it was initially branded to be. But unfortunately, in reality, that's what it unfortunately has become. And it's generational. Now you see generation after generation after generation that are on public assistance. And that unfortunately has become a way of life for too many of our African American women.
And so the system has started now, it's in the flow that the black man will get together with the black woman and have a bunch of kids, and then he'd leave the house, and then so the mother will be able to get government assistance and get plenty of things, so that the kids will be provided for, or I mean, it's just
It's a lot.
it's you know it's I don't know,
and that's it's so much.
The way
Go ahead.
But the way you're saying that, see, I don't think it. I don't know this, but I don't believe that that's a pervasive mindset among black women. Let's just keep having these babies and get more money from the state. Some women might do that, but I don't think most, or even a majority, or plurality of black women think like that. I don't think that. So I think when you say stuff like that, you are disparaging black women with children.
Well, let me say something in relation to that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the numbers, but living in Memphis all my life and being around that group of individuals, those that grew up in that atmosphere, it for a majority of them it becomes generational. And let me agree with Gregory Martin. You're exactly right. It was for whites that lost the heads of households to help them out until they could get back on their feet. So you are exactly right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. So there's no pushback there. But it wasn't designed. But when it did hit us, that's how it hit us. That's how it affected us. So, like I said earlier, that wasn't the original intention of it. But when the culture changed, it affected us more negatively than any other race.
Man, it's amazing. And you know, you look at all these things that have happened to the black community that have negatively affected us, whether, you say the government or just people and their prejudice and power and things of that nature, right? You think now, at least to me, you would think, okay, it's not as bad, and it's not, right, in a lot of ways, but is it? And because of even people I've talked to now, when you see the state of things, I feel like, I'm curious what y'all both think on this. And this is all wrapped in the DEI conversation. And this ain't disparaging anybody, but with the murder of Charlie Kirk and the backlash you see from it from a lot of people and the direction they seem to be going in, where they're like, we need to fight. Like, okay, what are you fighting exactly? Or they're like, okay, the things he fought for. So then, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know. I knew a little bit about Charlie Kirk. I never watched his stuff or listened to anything. But then after his death, and I see all these things, and like, look, as a Christian, as we all are on here, right? He said a lot of things that I agree with when it comes to Jesus and Christianity and all of that.
It was a dark side.
I was about to say, I'm getting to that. Trust me, because you know it's like, okay, I see this and I'm like, wow, okay, he wasn't a preacher by any means, but it's like he wasn't afraid to share the faith. But then I see this other side, and I'm like, okay, oh, hold on now. And the things that he pushed when it comes to different subjects on race, or when it comes to like we talked about DEI. I literally saw yesterday a debate he had with a young black woman at one of the colleges. And the black girl, she was real intelligent. She was a Christian. She was a Democrat, but she was a Christian and had conservative views. It was real friendly back and forth. But at the end of the day, she disagreed with him on the DEI thing. And he said, well, I'm not going to argue with you. He said, but the fact of the matter is DEI was put in place to hurt the straight black white male in America, and that white men are it's an effort to replace white men as the dominant in this country. And this is the man. This is why I made my video I did that, you know, some folks jumped on me on. Even some white folks that we've known for years. And I still don't hate those people. But at the same time, how blind can you be to say you just haven't listened to all of his stuff? I got to listen to hundreds of hours of Kirk to understand that statement. You can't out of context that.
Yeah, he said what he said.
He said what he said. So what I'm saying is, as black people, if we come to DEI and stuff like that, and the push to make the man a saint almost in this country, we need to honor him. We need to give him a holiday. We need to do all this other stuff. And if you don't, you're not a Christian and all this stuff. That's the stuff I've been getting from folks. So how should we feel as black people, and honestly, black Christians as well?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's kind of a tough state of affairs. I know it's maybe a tough question, but I don't know who wants to go first on it.
No, I don't mind speaking on that.
Yes, sir.
There's two things you got to look at: what a person says and how a person lives. Right? I regret Charlie Kirk got killed. He did not deserve it.
Absolutely.
Did not deserve to be killed at all. And the guy that killed him, that was the worst thing in the world. And I wish that had to happen. But but the things that he said and some of his beliefs that he had, I totally disagree with him totally. And so I truly wouldn't try to put him into Satan or anything of that nature, because I just diametrically disagree with the views that I have read that he has made and some of the comments that I have heard him say. So I just regret he was killed, and I hate he was killed, and I pray for his wife and for his children.
Yes, sir.
I really do, and I mean that. But that's the full extent of where I go on that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Fred, what do you say to that?
Pastor Tappan.
I see his feed might have went out there, so he should be coming back in a second. Okay. But man, you know, that's the thing. And has it surprised you at all? As Attorney Donnell again, has it surprised you at all with the response you've seen from it, to the point where they wanted to honor him in so many ways? The fact that a lot of people seem to want revenge for his death, but yet still proclaiming to be Christians, or even a lot of white church leaders, even some black I've seen too, that you're not Christian if you know that he was a Christian warrior or whatever the case is. Like, does that surprise you at all?
Is it going? Did they go? Are they still going overboard with this, or?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Just remember that the biggest slave owners in history in America were also Christians. Got that? They were Christians too. Mahatma Gandhi made a statement one time where he said this. He said, "I love your Christ, but he said, I like your Christ, but I dislike your Christians, because a lot of Christians don't practice the tenets of Christ." So it does surprise me that you look at this day and time with this MAGA movement. You got these evangelical pastors and everybody. They overlook the shortcomings of President Trump, things that they preach against all the time, but they embrace him because they agree with his position on certain issues. So they overlook all what they overlook all that they want to overlook in order to justify something that's deep within making Charlie Kirk a saint. That surprised me at all. Not at all.
Pastor
And,
Fred is
yeah, he's
with
back.
us.
And Pastor Fred, what do you have to say on the topic?
You know what? My phone, my
Feed went
mic
off.
cut off for a second. So I think we're talking about Charlie Kirk.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, never want to see anyone killed. Look, he was a family man. He was married, had 2 kids. You never want to see anything like that happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
But I must say this: we live and die by the words that we say, and we have to understand what we say. And you stand. I applaud him for standing on what he believed in. I think everybody should do that. But you have to make sure that what you're saying, especially if you're using the Bible as a base, that you are congruent with what you're saying is congruent with what the Bible is saying. You can't go outside what the word says and then claim it to be the word. In seminary, they called it doctrinal chili dipping, and basically what that is picking scriptures out of context to support some idea that we have that's outside of the realm of the word of God. And so
What?
doctrinal chili dipping.
Chili dipping. Okay, I'm
Chili.
gonna remember that.
Because of Fred, see, this will get Fred bad. He'll use big words or words I ain't heard of, and I'm like, okay, did he say chili or is this like an ancient word? But
It's just like when you put a ladle into a chili pot, and then so you're picking out parts of the word, and then you are reinterpreting it to fit some ideal or idea that you have that does not fit into the parameters of scripture. And you've seen that a lot happen in some of the religious circles that we're talking about right now. In no way, shape, form, or fashion do I want to see anybody killed in that fashion or killed at all. But again, make sure that what you're saying is in line with what you say it's in line with. And so I look at that situation as far as Charlie Kirk is concerned. I saw a picture, and this disturbed me. On this picture, it had Jesus, it had John F. Kennedy, it had Martin Luther King, and it had Charlie Kirk.
yeah.
Oh man.
See,
Do you remember on Sesame Street, and they had this little thing, which thing does not belong with the rest of them?
not like the other. Yeah.
Do you know which thing is not like the other?
Yeah.
And that's immediately what I thought about, is that it's a force feeding of and almost a deitized recollection. And listen to what I said: a deitized recollection. You can't change what's been said. You can't change that he demeaned Dr. King to the nth degree. You can't change that. You can't change that he demeaned African American women to the nth degree. You can't change that. So when we have this deistic back look, then you need to take a look at what you're really saying, what you're really doing, who you're really representing. Because when it's like when all of our people, your dad, Bob and I's age, we say we had the best music.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Josh is gonna say when he gets our age, we had the best music. Well, it's all in perspective, but there is a level of reality that we must address. We can have these whimsical uh, times that we can look back and say something positive, but we still have to deal with the reality of what was said, what was done, and address that as an issue.
Well, go ahead, Frank.
Go ahead,
Bobby,
attorney.
I'm gonna have to leave in about another 7 minutes. I got an 8:30 engagement I gotta go to.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yeah. Okay. Go ahead, attorney. You had something to say?
I'm just telling you that I got an engagement at 8:30.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to leave at that time.
Yes, sir. I know Attorney O'Donnell is a very busy man. He
Definitely.
really is.
And I appreciate him coming on. And just
Attorney, I would like to speak with you, you and I off the air at some point in time. I'd love to hear more of your views.
That me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Sure, I'll be glad to. No problem. Bobby has my contact information. No problem.
Yes, sir.
That'd be great for y'all to hook up. That'd be awesome, man. And I guess my thing is, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but I guess the response to it is more of what surprised me. And Fred, would you say you were surprised by the response and the vitriol in which, because even like people coming out and overflowing. There was one guy I did see said that Charlie Kirk, he put him right next to, it was Jesus and Charlie Kirk, one of the best men he's ever seen. Literally, I saw this.
Yeah, like I said, the picture that I saw had JFK, Dr. King, Jesus, and Charlie Kirk.
Wow. And it's people that you think would be smart, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about some wealthy, educated individuals that have.
Go ahead, Craig.
I'm very, very surprised. I'm not apoplectic. I'm not angry about it, but I am very surprised by how they have lifted this guy's reputation from a commentator to some Christ-like individual. I don't understand that.
Well, they didn't do
And
that.
it sounds like the cult of personality.
Yeah, they didn't do that to Dr. King.
No.
Yeah, I know.
They were contemplating and arguing about whether he should get a holiday or not. Now they just throwing everything at this guy's feet. Go ahead, Attorney Darnell.
I know you just got a couple minutes.
No, I wasn't surprised about how they deified him. What surprised me is that I didn't know who this guy was. I'd heard his name before, but I didn't know that all these MAGA people loved him like they loved him. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I went back to hear and read some of the things that he had said. So that's what surprised me is that I did not know that this guy had a position of power within the MAGA community. That's what I didn't know.
Well, it's dangerous for a guy to have that type of authority and then to have that authority and have that following like that, and then to even downgrade the black people and even downgrade to talk bad about Dr. King.
That was one of his main missions.
And then the thing that is was so to me bad is that you have a lot of black people just bowing at his feet. And they know the things that this guy has said about Dr. King. Well, that was in the past. No, he said it though. Yeah. He's still saying it, and he said that. Yeah, so
10 toes down on it.
Go ahead. Let me get. Attorney Donnell, we're glad to have had you on, man. It's been such an honor to have you on tonight. Give us your last closing remarks, and then about this briefly, and then tell us quickly about what you feel about the National Guard coming to these cities in America.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a while since I've talked to you last. I've enjoyed talking to you and your son and to Dr. Fred, and I'll be glad to talk to you anytime in the future.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the National Guard coming, I'm totally against that for several reasons. Number one, the Guard is coming because President Trump is imposing the Guard on the people of Memphis. Mayor Young and your county mayor didn't ask for help for Memphis. President Trump imposed them coming to Memphis in order to just make a political point, just to show that he's a bad man and all that kind of stuff. Republicans always say that the best government is the government that's closest to the people, and in this case, that would be the Memphis and Shelby County government. If they hadn't asked the governor for to bring in the National Guard, that should not have happened. And Governor Lee, in my opinion, he just acquiesced to what President Trump has said that he was going to do, because he and all the Republicans are afraid of President Trump. They're just scared of him, and whatever he wants to do, they'll just go along with it. So I think this is just a political stunt. One of the things that Governor Lee has said, which might not be too bad, is that the National Guard unit, that their personnel, they would fill slots, seems though he said, in an administrative capacity, so that the police officers of Memphis can be out on the street. Now, that's not a bad thing there, but again, I just go back to the fact that since he says he's only sending 150 guardmen there, as opposed to where they did in California, where they sent over 2,000, it's good that the number of people they are sending would be very, very low. But it's manageable, but only if Mayor Young and the county mayor are put in positions of authority, and your chief of police. As long as they are put in positions of authority, then it would be you can manage that.
Yeah, and that is a low number of 150 people. I thought it would be a lot more than that. What can 150 people do as the National Guard? I don't understand that part.
Yeah, they would just fill in the slots of administrative duties the way that I understand that Governor Lee is saying. They wouldn't be on the street trying to protect anybody. They would just fill those slots so that Memphis police officers would be available to hit the street. It's the way I understand what Governor Lee is saying.
So by that being the case, do you think that'll make a difference, or you think their presence need to be seen more on the streets with the officers and things of that nature, so people can see that they mean business? That sounds rather tacky to me.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be managed by the local authorities and listen to what Mayor Young and others say, and that they just be in a supportive role, they're going to be there, rather than being an active, overt role.
Well, I hope Attorney Donnell, that you're wrong, because Memphis and the authorities, the people in Memphis have had an opportunity to turn this thing around. Crime has been there. Said, well, we can do it ourselves. We just need resources. Give us money. No, you don't need no money. You spent all the money the government's ever sent you. What did you do with it? So now we don't want no National Guard. We the people in what they call that fatigues, walking around. I mean, that's an insult, man, to the United States Army to even talk that way. But I think that to the way they're talking about this is like the National Guard is a foreign.
Is the enemy.
Foreign army that's coming in against the society. I mean, they've had opportunity to me. Memphis officers, police officers, all of them, they've had the time to take care of what they did, and over the years, crime has just gotten worse and worse. So you have to figure out what is going on here. There has to be another way, a better plan, or something. We have to do something to kind of slow this thing down, man, because it's going out of control. That's all I'm saying,
That's a very nice discussion, and I appreciate it, but I gotta exit right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Tim.
Attorney Donnell, we appreciate you so much being on the show, and it was an honor. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, all
right.
Well, I've got to push back on that.
Okay,
see, and that's why, because I know we'd have a little more time to talk about. I know.
Yeah.
Because Lord have mercy, but I got one little thing. All right.
Okay.
And I want y'all to see this. This is, and I ain't gonna play much of this, but y'all probably saw this was the Shelby County Democratic Party.
Oh God.
And they had to make a stand. They had to stand up for the people, because tanks and stealth bombers were gonna come in and blow up half of Memphis.
Tanks
and in the streets. Because they said Trump was going to come in and say, at least clear out everything up until you get to Collierville, But all right, so we're gonna play some of this, and we'll be back just to get a little picture of what people are saying.
I wanted to come out today to make sure that you had a statement about how we felt about having occupation.
Yes.
Occupation in our city. And we say no troops on our stoops.
That's right.
All right, hold on.
Whoa. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to be another Dr. King? And then he talking about no troops on our stoops.
You gotta
Come
rhyme.
on, man.
You gotta rhyme.
Come on.
Do you
man.
see? And I still really like Justin Pearson. I really do, actually. But when you see that magnificent fro, you must rhyme. And when you're talking, you know what I'm saying? So he said, hey, troops on our stoops, we can't let that go down.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I ain't gonna go too much further because this is a long video.
Okay.
But so I must ask Fred, what do you think? Because I'm gonna just say what I think real quick. I think all of this, because you had 3 different conferences, that's what got me, right? You had the mayor who came out with a lot of different groups of people. You know, you saw Antonio Parkinson, so Dr. Hutchinson, who we know, Pastor,
Right.
Hutchinson. You saw
all those guys.
lots of folks that, from different sides and everything. The mayor says, I'm not for the National Guard, but they're coming, so we need to find ways to work together.
Yeah.
I actually commended the mayor on that statement.
Right.
And even Antonio Parkinson, when I saw him on Roland Martin, it was him and JB Smiley. And Antonio Parkinson said the same thing. Yeah, I'm not for it, but they're coming, so we at least want a seat at the table and not feel like an enemy. JB Smiley comes out and says the mayor was weak. Essentially, that the mayor was weak, and you need to speak out strong. And he said, I'm fighting against it. I'm not quitting. I think we can stop it. I think we can. What are they going to do? Are they going to start a militia and fight them? I don't really understand that line of thinking. You got Lee Harris.
Yeah.
And you got real quick, the mayor of Shelby County, Lee Harris, still saying we need to fight this. I'm not really sure what more fighting can be done because it's over.
Yeah.
They're coming.
This guy needs to get a life. Another life.
Well, let's not go into that. But
Okay.
They'll go into different lives.
All right. Okay.
But so
anyway.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But so all that being said, Fred, what do you think about the different responses you've seen from Memphis officials? Is it grandstanding going on, or what?
Let me can I address some things that attorney said?
Yes, sir.
But first of all, where does he live?
Jackson, Tennessee.
All right. So he doesn't live in Memphis.
Yeah.
I live in Memphis.
Right.
I've got boots on the ground here in Memphis, and I know I work in the justice system. I work in the court system. So I'm speaking from experience. And you guys know how long I've been calling for the National Guard for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were way ahead of the game on that.
On my show, I've been calling for it for the last 2 years.
Yep. Are you there?
I don't know if Lee Harris might have got the Fred sound there. Can't hear. We see you really well, but can't really hear you.
Can't hear you, Fred. Can you hear us? Maybe his microphone went out again. But
because we can see him actually really well, but just can't hear him.
But at any rate, some people don't like the fact. Here we go with the Democratic Party. This is what I think. I think the Democratic Party don't like the National Guard coming to Memphis because a Republican president, Donald Trump, which a lot of people hate, he's making a decision to do that. Now, if that was Joe Biden, do you think that Democratic Party would have got up and said that? Oh, President Biden is loving us and he's concerned about us and we've never had a president like this. He's trying to help us and bring the National Guard. We appreciate what President Biden is doing. And no. See, that's what they would say if this is what they would be saying if President Biden had initiated this. But now, because it's a Republican that initiated and Donald Trump, so this is why this is political.
This is political.
Yeah, they
This is political. If we have to stop focusing on who sent the troops, but be thankful that they sent the troops, that the
Yeah.
troops have been sent, because we are almost 600 police officers down.
Right. Right.
The armament that our police are using are 9mm guns.
Mm-hmm.
What the criminals are using are AR-15s and
Oh
above,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with switches,
Yeah.
what they call monkey testicles. I'm not going to say the negative
Yeah. I
term
know.
that they use.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 200 rounds.
Right.
And so we needed a shock to the system. And I've been calling for this for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I want to address this with the attorney, that Governor Lee has been trying for over a year to get the National Guard here.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like it was all Trump's President Trump saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this." No, no. Governor Lee had been asking for this. I'm good friends with his second, with one of his top assistants.
Yeah.
This is not something that he just came about and just fell into.
But that's
No, he's been asking for this, for it to happen, and so we needed help here. And what they're talking about, these the Democrats, and I don't mean just to call Democrats, but I'm talking about these particular Democrats,
yes.
are grandstanding, and anything that comes from the federal government they don't want a part of because of who it came from. Memphis, let me tell you something. If my family is hungry, the Ku Klux Klan can come and bring me some food.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know I'm hyperbolizing the situation, but I'm gonna take help from whoever is giving me that help. And
Right.
so we need help here in Memphis to shock the system. I haven't read anywhere in my research how many guardsmen that they're sending. Normally, and Bob, you know this, in military terms, they don't usually talk about troop movements in terms of numbers. They don't usually talk about that.
No.
What I've seen is they're going to send the troops. They are increasing the Tennessee Highway Patrol by 200.
Yeah.
They're all over here in Memphis. You see them on every street corner. And also 13 different agencies are coming with them. Now, those are the only numbers that I've seen. I haven't seen that 150 number. In fact, and again, Bob, the military doesn't usually talk about troop movements and how many they're moving into an area. So there was a little pushback on that. But Memphis needed the help. Some of the guys that are in our program, three of them, all of them had triple carjackings that they did all in the same day.
Wow. Woo.
This is just an example.
Right.
It's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, the armament that these guys have, the AR-15s, these assault rifles that they have, the Glocks with the switch units on it. It is scary out here. I don't leave my house with fewer than 2 guns. In my house, I hear shooting almost every night. And so Memphis has become a battleground almost. And so we needed a shock to the system. We didn't get in this predicament overnight. It's not going to be fixed overnight, but any help that we can get that is legal, we need to take advantage of it. And these individuals that are out here speaking negatively about the National Guard coming in, so you are saying that the good guys are bad?
That's what it sounds like.
So are you saying inversely that the bad guys are good?
So I mean,
So you don't want the good guys to come in and bring down the hatred and animosity of the bad guys, but you're talking bad against the good guys. It makes no sense to me. Now talk about being apoplectic. I'm apoplectic about that. That you are saying don't come and help. Don't come help. We don't need your help. But people are dying on the street every day.
Every day, Fred. I mean, today.
Every day people are dying on the street in Memphis. And you're going to deny help?
I've heard so much today, just today alone, that it's every single day. You know, it'll be different if you're someplace and then sometimes it happens on the weekend or one or two or something like
Bob,
that.
we're the most dangerous city in the nation. In the nation.
Number one. And we're number one. Memphis is number one in the homicide.
Yeah, violent crimes as a whole. And, you know, because here's the thing to me, and I'm going to just throw this out there. And I'm not, you know, knocking statistics, right? But, you know, one, I do find myself suspicious about some of it, and that's just me. And two, even with the stats, what does it say when you're still in the top 3 of like every bad criminal statistic? You know what I mean? So why even tout those numbers, not knocking whatever work they've been trying to do, but why not take some more help? You say you're as low as you are in the police are 600 down, right? They had one class that had 16 new officers. I'm like, oh, you know, come on now. So and
nobody wants to be a cop in Memphis because you're putting your life on the line every night.
That's it, Fred. Those people, those cops, for years, people have said they've reached out to other communities, other cities, and they try to get cops to come here. They push back, and no, I don't want to go to Memphis.
Nobody wants to come here.
And I know for years, you know, even cops that were here, they get the opportunity to leave.
They leave.
So, they get out.
You know,
Austin, Texas, I know have taken over 100 of our police officers.
Yeah,
but because in 3 years, and I've talked to some of the guys that left, in 3 years they're making over $100,000, and they have one of the lowest crime rates in America.
Yep. I mean, I'm telling you. And look at this. Look at this. Well, so, and I got on the screen just so y'all can see.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got on the screen.
This is one guy. Let me say this. One guy on the leaving comments. A lot of people leaving comments. Thanks for your comments.
Yes.
Robert Lee said in most major cities today, killings, especially in the black neighborhood, is high. The National Guard is not going to change that. Okay. All right. At least he's, you know, and that's another thing I was talking about and thinking about. Why is it so dangerous among black people against black people? They're not killing anybody else. They're only killing black people.
Well, and that's a whole other thing, because I know that's a conversation in itself.
Yes,
but we're not saying it's the end all be all. We just need some help. So you're saying if I can't get a full tank of gas, I don't want any gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let me sit on the side of the road, you know.
Yeah, that makes no sense. If you can give me 1/10 of a tank where I can get home, I'll take that. So we should not deny the assistance because it's not, because you think it's not going to solve the whole problem. It's not. Eventually, Memphis is going to have to solve that problem. But what's wrong with a hand?
Absolutely.
The National Negro College Fund, we're not looking for a handout. We're looking for a hand. So we're looking for a hand so we can help ourselves.
Right.
I'm tired of that narrative of people who don't live in Memphis.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm
and even they don't know how bad the crime is there. They hadn't seen anything. When you've been there and you live there, and then you ride down the interstate and you hear.
I'm in court every day with these folks. Every day.
It's unbelievable. And just a couple stats. I know we were talking about different things I have on the screen. The U.S. Marshals, according to the governor, and the stat says is in charge with the National Guard. But this says the U.S. and this is from Shelby County Commissioner Mick Wright. Okay. He was for the National Guard coming in, by the way. He said that according to Governor Lee, the U.S. Marshals are in charge. 13 agencies will coordinate action. Hundreds of arrests anticipated. 300 highway patrol troops assigned to Memphis. That's an increase because and I've talked to some people in Memphis right now, right? And they've said, look, the highway patrol are everywhere. This is before the National Guard.
Yeah.
And they're adding 300. They added 50 before, and it was covering the city.
Yeah.
300 is wild.
Wow.
And I think it's a good thing.
And people said like every 1 or 2 miles you see them on the interstate, you see them clocking for pulling over. And
the highway patrol.
Yeah, the highway patrol. And our good friend Tennessee Highway Patrolman Sergeant Chris Richardson, he was talking to me the other day. He was saying, man, how bad it is. He said, man, that needs a lot of work to be happening there in Memphis. He said, I don't know why those people are against anything coming in and trying to help, because right now,
Bobby, he's right. It makes no sense that you're denying help.
Yeah, because see, and Fred, here's another thing that people are saying. Okay, well, if the National Guard come in, then people are gonna be afraid. They're not gonna want to go out to dinner. They're not gonna.
We're already afraid.
We're already afraid.
Bob, we're already afraid. I'm sorry.
I don't.
We're already afraid.
Yeah.
Why would you be afraid of the good guys, but you're not afraid of the bad guys?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it, Fred.
I'm sorry for being so passionate. It just makes absolutely no sense to me.
It's because we care. People not the passion. That's because you actually care.
Yeah, I want to see my city the way I grew up in it.
Yeah.
Do you, Bob? You remember Memphis at one time? Memphis was the 12th largest city in the nation.
Yeah.
It was called City Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had things going, and in a scant 25 or 30 years, we're one of the top 3 worst cities in the nation in terms of crime.
Awards, Fred, for being one of the most cities. Yeah. So.
Okay, Robert Lee asked a question. Can I answer this?
Yes. Go ahead.
He says again, how is the National Guard going to help you fight crime in the city? They're going to be a deterrent.
Thank you.
And there's another thing that I found out from one of the officials that I know in the National Guard. The National Guardsmen, it's been said that they don't have police power. The ones that do have police power are MPs. The ones that are going to be on the street are MPs, a number of them. And MPs, and Bob, MPs have police power. And I heard that from one of the officials in the Guard, that a lot of the folks that they're sending to Memphis are MPs. And they do have police power.
Oh, yeah.
But the majority of it is that they're going to be a deterrent, because these guys on the street are going to think twice about killing somebody or carjacking somebody or shooting somebody if they know that the city is overrun by National Guardsmen, by 200 Tennessee Highway Patrolmen, by 13 different agencies coming into this city. It's going to be a deterrent. So don't think about it as it's going to solve the problem. That's not why they're coming. They're coming to assist us to assist ourselves.
Right. Yeah. So people are talking about, well, they're coming, they're going to make it worse and all this other kind of stuff. How could it be? I mean, people are already afraid to go out to eat.
But you got to remember.
And we say no troops on our stoops.
Fred, what is going on with that?
The stoops. And look, here's the thing.
No. Fred, I want to hear you on this one. What? I mean, maybe you can make this make sense what he said to us.
Well, the stoop,
No, he's talking about on your porch, and he's saying, metaphorically speaking. Look, it's time out for rhetoric. It's time for real change. And Greg said, nah, man, I guess he's referring to me. Ain't nobody afraid but the folks that want to be afraid. Come on, dude.
Oh, man.
Folks are dying in Memphis every day. Look, I carry 2 guns with me everywhere I go. So if they want to have a shootout with me, they're going to have a shootout. But I'm not going to lie and say that there's no fear out here in the streets of Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm covered. I've got firearms,
Yes, sir.
but I don't want to get into a firefight. I don't want to get into a shootout with anybody.
Right.
But it is a very real possibility every time you step out of your house in Memphis.
And
Yeah,
let me throw this out there, y'all.
Yeah.
So I saw Fox 13 report.
Greg, they do if the federal government gives it to them.
Right.
Yeah.
The federal government can give them those police powers.
Right, because see, you heard the governor said they won't be armed, and then again they could be armed. He changing it back and forth
If need be.
because as needed, and if it comes
Right.
down to it, they're already trained. They know what they're doing. Some people they don't know what yes, they are trained in that area. They've done that. I've been in the military. I know they trained us in that area, so I know in urban crime, how to go to cities and be able to do things and things of that nature. I know that it's a possibility. So it's just like these people looking down on the United States armed forces, like these people are a bunch of dummies. They don't know what they're doing. They're coming in here, and we don't want them carrying guns, or we don't want them on our streets afraid.
They have that weekend warrior mentality. They are not weekend warriors. They are soldiers.
Soldiers.
They are soldiers.
And Fred, I'm telling you, most of these guys in the military now are educated. I know I was in there, educated, went to college, did some college too. A lot of them are doing college courses.
And
they're not dummies.
And just real quick. So, and it seems like the main, and this is what I mean, and this is why I keep putting this up there. It's not just to make fun of the guy, but it's annoying to me.
Put some of his tie.
Well, yeah, the tie is annoying too.
I'm sorry. That was bad. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Look, it's as crooked as what he's saying.
Forgive me, but I think it's a Freudian slip by the tie. The tie is crooked, and probably so is he. Okay, I'm done.
The tie is testifying right now. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
Big testimony.
But look, here's the thing. So I think, and the reason why I don't like it, and I don't mind calling these folks out, and even though, there's a lot of stuff I like that Justin has stood for, especially, and I'm not just talking about one person in particular, but I feel like some of this is so intentional to get the people scared. Because you literally like, okay, and then you hear people talking, saying the same stuff they're saying. They say, "Oh, I'm scared. They're gonna bring tanks in the streets." Where have you seen tanks? Look, in Washington D.C., real quick, Bob. I know you've been listening, but real quick, where have you seen that anywhere?
Nowhere.
When we went to D.C., you saw like the little Hummer cars,
and Jeeps and trucks,
Jeeps or whatever.
But run up down the street with no tank.
Yeah, I got you, but it's like you're really making people think this.
Yeah,
it's fear mongering.
Fear mongering.
It's fear mongering. Now, have they ever come forth, Josh, and said, "Be afraid of the criminals in the streets of Memphis"?
No, never. They say there's
but
nothing
now
wrong
you're going to tell us to be afraid of the guys that the guys and ladies that are coming in to help us fight the individuals that are killing us in the street. Just make it make sense.
It doesn't, and they're not making sense.
No, and even the lady that no, not to her, but I know she said what she experienced. She's from Memphis. Probably saw all over Facebook and on the news.
And she was in
DC. She lives in DC, and she was saying how the experience was and all that. I'm like, man, to me, that ain't sound too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it really didn't.
They're going to be checkpoints. Look, the people who need to fear the guard coming in are the criminals. You better make sure you got your tag straight. Exactly. Make sure your licenses are up to date. Make sure you're not driving on suspended license because you could get caught up in it. But if you have everything, you're gonna be fine. It's the criminals that need to be afraid. They're coming here to be a deterrent to the crime in our city.
I'm gonna tell you something, Fred. If they think the National Guard coming in to fix up their rose gardens and mow their lawn, they got another thing coming.
That's right.
They got another thing coming. And what I'm glad they think it's that way, some of them, because what's going to happen is they're going to set up roadblocks and a lot of people are going to get caught with a bunch of junk. And it's going to help get those people off the street.
That's what it's all about. That's the deterrent.
That's it.
Greg wants to call in really bad. I know Fred.
We got a line open.
We do.
Greg, give him the number.
Yeah, it's 706-609-0416. So he really wants to call. I got Frankie here. Let me read some of these comments real quick. She says, I have one firearm and it had hollow point bullets. She loaded. She said, I have to admit that yesterday I was talking about getting a second one.
See, okay, why? She knows what's going on. If you even contemplating or thinking about getting another gun, then you know that it's bad.
Yeah, I keep one with me at all times, and I have another one at the house. Actually, I have 3. I forgot. Yeah, but because you never know what's gonna happen in Memphis at any given time, no matter where you live. Where I live is a pretty nice neighborhood, but I still hear gunshots every night.
Yep.
I still hear automatic gunfire every night.
And where we lived, when we were there, we were far away from that. Then I was hearing, we said, wait a minute, is that gunshot? You could hear it off in the distance. I said, man, good, at nighttime it's like a
it's more than singles. Like
I mean, it was I said loud.
Yeah, automatic gunfire.
Yeah. It was crazy.
And I'm gonna throw this at you. Frankie, she says, I want them to stop all vehicles with paper tags and drive out.
Amen. Francetta, look, I am so sick of these. Look, paper tags with a busted window.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
Stop it.
Fred, you know they just stole that car.
They stole it. Oh, hey, man. But look, I saw a report on Fox 13, and they were, I was watching online, and they were talking like the new police cameras. They were showing how much stuff is going on. Like they show downtown, like a lot of folks walking with all these guns openly. Right. And you can talk about the open carry. That's a whole other thing. But
yeah, that's another whole. Yeah.
Yes, a whole nother thing. But they out here open with it and intimidating people. So let's not act like. And see, this is my thing. I don't want people to understand. I love Memphis, even though we're not me and Bob ain't in Memphis anymore. I was been in Memphis since I was in the 3rd grade. So that's my city. You know what I mean? And like when we say this, it's not like to make fun or hate Memphis. It's like you want it to be better. You want people to stop being in denial about the situation. But that's the phone line ringing, and I think that's Greg who wanted to get in real bad.
All right, caller, welcome to the show, Talk Back Live.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing wonderful, my friend. How are you?
What's up, Greg?
I'm doing good. Look here, y'all. Let me jump right into this. All right. Numero uno. One problem that people have in this city because a lot of them understand the military. They don't have a clue.
Okay, exactly.
They think, and I talk to people all the time. Look, I've been out for a while. I got out in '96, so we talking about almost 30 years ago. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when I talk to people and they found out I was Marine and that I was in the Army or whatever, you know, some of the things that they think about the military is just ridiculous. Yeah. Right? So first off, they think that everybody's a trained killer.
That's exactly what they say.
That's exactly what they think. Secondly, they think that all we did was run around in combat boots with a knife in our mouth and shooting guns. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing was every movie that you've ever seen, when it depicts the military, what is it showing them? Occupation.
Yeah.
That's what it's showing them. Every dystopian movie you've ever seen that comes with the military, showing them, that's what they show them, is occupation.
Yeah.
And so naturally, you know, people are going to think that's what's going to happen because there have been no public mission parameters given. None. Than what the National Guard is going to be doing when they get here.
Right.
All right. And you know, and I understand the people when they come, that's what they're thinking. So that's why there's the pushback. And for me, yeah, my pushback, no, I don't want the National Guard here. For one,
for two reasons. One is showing that our leaders can't handle the problem.
That's true.
Which they've shown that they cannot handle the problem.
Exactly.
Two is coming from Trump.
Chemical what?
Shown he loves dictators. And what do the dictators that the people that he say love him, they do? They use the military to do the things that he wants done.
I don't think, Greg. I don't think people need to look at it that way. What I mean, don't hate. I think people don't need to stop hating on Trump in this situation about the National Guard coming to town and look at it as these people are coming to help with our crime situation. And that's the only thing you should be concerned about. I don't care who it is. You know, in the White House, if you got people coming, you know, God uses the devil to bless some people. So, I mean, you know.
I think it's a good analogy when it comes to Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, and a lot of people like Trump. A lot of people agree with Trump. I really don't have too much.
Look, if it was anybody other than Trump, I would be okay with it. But like I said, his penchant for his love of dictators, that's what gives me
I
pause.
disagree with you, Greg. I got to disagree with you on that. If it was anybody else but Trump, so what are you gonna do? Wait till Trump get out of the White House and somebody else come in and they can help you with the crime in Memphis?
So how many people are going to die?
By that time, everybody be killed in Memphis if it keeps going this way.
I don't think the National Guard can help the crime. I don't think so. However, are they a deterrent? It's no different than if you have two security officers in your department store, right? And your crime is rampant. Well, if you put 10 security officers, okay, that's going to deter your crime.
Right.
It's no different than putting, you know, we're 600 plus cops, or right at 600 cops behind, you know, short of the goal of the police officers. Then yes, crime will be down. So you know what the National Guard is doing? It's not just it's the National Guard, it's the numbers of people.
Okay.
Well, I guess
Fred Tappan, you still there?
Yeah, he's walking.
Okay. Did you want to make a comment on that?
Me?
Yeah, I know he's kind of mid.
Yeah, I mean, you're making our point.
I was about to say you're making the point, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making a point, Greg.
It's not the point that it's the National Guard, it's the number of people. It doesn't matter if it was the National Guard or the Boy Scouts are coming. It's the number of eyes that are on the street. That's what deters crime.
So what's your point? What's your point?
Security. Huh?
He's wondering like what's
I understand.
Go ahead, Fred.
The point.
You're breaking up.
I don't hear anything different.
You must be in an area where you can't get out, Fred.
No, that's not me.
You can't hear me?
I'm talking about Pastor Tappan.
Yeah, I know Fred and Greg rhyme a little bit, but and I know
he's driving, right?
Yeah, he just actually it looked like he just got home.
Oh, okay.
I just walked in the house.
Okay, now we can hear you better. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I just walked in the house. Yeah, what I was saying, Greg, is you kind of making our point. That's what more people being more visual. You're
breaking up again.
And that's a deterrent.
Okay, there we go. Go
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying we're kind of the same thing, that more people being visually seen in authority that will be a deterrent. Look, the guys that I work with every day, 90% of them are all criminals. And what they're saying is they are afraid.
Okay, you're breaking up. They're afraid of what now?
They're afraid of the National Guard.
Okay. Well,
they're afraid. So, and again, they're going to be a deterrent.
Yeah.
I hear it again. That's who I work with every day. I work with folks that's in the system. And when I hear them talking amongst themselves, saying that they are afraid of the National Guard because they have guns just like them. And they're saying, man, y'all gonna chill out, man. Y'all gonna chill out while they're here. And so I'm listening to this. So I'm hearing that it's going to be a deterrent. I mean, it's even being a deterrent before they get here.
It has nothing to do with their guns, though. It's just about the eyeballs. But
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you. And that's what I was saying. In addition to, the numbers, they are looking at equal armament because the majority of the police officers have 9 millimeters, unless you call in the SWAT team. But if this guy has an AR-15 and this guardsman has an M16, well, you have pretty equal armament, and you're going to be less likely to go do something, knowing that if they come on the scene, then they're going to have similar weaponry that I have.
Right.
Yeah. But my question is, why are they afraid of the National?
Because of what I just said. They don't look. They know that they can commit crimes in Memphis and not get caught oftentimes because we don't have enough officers. So by the time the officers get there, they've gotten away. But if there's such a proliferation of officers, including the National Guard, they know that it's going to be harder to get away with situations because the response time is normally going to be shorter.
Hold on. I must have missed something because who are these people to you that are saying these things?
The criminal. I work with the mayor. I work in a program that tries to rehabilitate criminals.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, and I'm hearing what they're saying.
Okay, I feel you. Okay. Well, look. The other thing is this. All right. So they come. The problem is it's not sustainable.
Correct.
That's the other problem that I have with it.
Well, Greg, at some point we're going to have to take care of our own problem. I've said this for the last 2 years. The system, and what I mean by the system, what's going on systematically in Memphis as far as crime is concerned, needs a shock.
Yeah.
In order to change. Yeah, they're not going to be here forever, but until we can get to the point where we can get these numbers back up, get some more officers involved, uh, and just think, even if it is a temporary situation, Greg, how many people that probably would have died didn't die while they were here? It could be my daughter, or your daughter, my son, or your son, that while they were here, they didn't get shot. I think if we can save one life, and as a pastor, this is how I think.
Right.
If I can save one life, then it's worth.
It's worth it all.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
There's worth involved there.
I don't think that way. I think a little bit longer, a little further than that. But let me ask you this. So let's just say, all right. So the National Guard comes and they leave in 30 days, right? But in those 30 days that they are here, who's putting a plan forward beyond the 30 days?
Well, see,
our leaders have to do that.
This is what I've been waiting to say. Okay, let's say, for instance, you got a car rolling down the hill. Let's take this as an example. People trying to get in front of the car to stop it, slow it down, and you have 6 people in front of the car, and there's still a lot of things. What's going to happen? Other people are going to come in and get in front of that car and reinforce to help stop the car, or to at least slow it down a lot. Okay, so this is the way I see the National Guard coming in, not to solve the problem, but they're coming in to help absorb and to slow some of the pace down, and then they can leave. And then when these authorities leave, okay, now Memphis has a fresh break to start over with things where they can get another grab on what's going on and stay in control. They can take it from there.
All right, let me throw this out at you to that point, and I get that, and I actually agree with you. But here's one thing I do wonder. I'm not gonna lie to you. is what Jet is alluding to. Shout out to Jet just coming in. He says, what it is exactly is it that you think is happening systemically in Memphis? So no, listen. I get but my thing is, I think he's alluding to the poverty situation in Memphis, which a lot of people feel like wherever you have poverty, which is true, I believe, poverty, crime, poverty. You talk about Baltimore, Detroit, whatever the cities are that have a ton of pride. And let me get in before you jump.
No, go ahead.
So all of that being said, I think that's true. Now, from what I saw, and I'm reading some of the notes here from the Governor Bill Lee, and just some of the stuff that I put out there. Said 13 agencies will coordinate. It won't just be the National Guard, all these different things. 300 highway patrol troops assigned to Memphis. Say highway patrol. 100 million in state resources coming. Now I don't know what those resources are. It says 100 million in state resources coming. It says the goal is lasting safety. No firm start or end dates. The first phase begins next week. Now, what I do hope is that it's more than just having folks on the street. I kind of think that's what Greg's talking about. Like, okay, what are you going to instill in the community that will last after you're gone? Now, I'm hoping that there's more, because they talk about this whole sweeping thing. Coming, that it's all this other stuff that they're doing, and that it's going to affect every part of Memphis. We'll see. But I mean, Fred, I'll ask you. I don't know. I don't think.
Josh, this is my thing.
Hmm?
It's not up to the National Guard or the federal government what happens after they leave. That's on us.
Right.
That's on us. That's on our federal government. I'm sorry. That's on our local government to put in the changes or whatever they're going to do, come up with a plan, an exit strategy, a commencement strategy for after they leave. That's up to our leaders.
Right.
And so we shouldn't be looking to the federal government to solve our problem. We do need you to come in and assist us with our problem. But the final decisions and the final responsibility is on our local government to put in a plan that will be sustainable after they leave. That's not on the federal government.
And I agree, Fred. I think
that's my position. That's exactly my position about it. To me, if I was mayor, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed as all get out to have the federal government come in and give me a hand.
Right.
There is not a person that's in charge of anything that wants somebody else to come in and help them clean it up. No boss, no manager wants that. And that's what the mayor is. He's the ultimate boss or the manager of the city.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now much beyond that, so where do we go? How do we get the citizens? Because it's only two entities in a city that can solve the municipal problems. That's the city government and the citizens. It can't work without either one of them. The mayor, the police chief, they can institute every program they want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the citizens are not doing their part, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So how do we get the citizens involved to help, to facilitate, easing the problem? That's what we got to go with it. That's just my point of view.
Yeah. Once this the National Guard and the federal agencies and all those folks, they're coming in here and then they leave. Now it is given Memphis, even while they're here, those people are here. Memphis need to be coming up with a plan of attack or a plan that's in place before the federal agencies and the National Guard leave. This is an opportunity to say, okay, we're on the streets helping you guys. Now, what you guys need to do while we're here to helping slow this down, let's come up with a plan to what you're going to do now and start putting that into place before we leave. and then we can gradually get on out of your hair and make sure the system's working, and then you guys can just take it over. But it's got to be definitely, it's definitely got to be a new plan, because what they have now and doing now, it's definitely not working.
It is not working. Well, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Bob, that that's what has to be done. And if it's not done, that's going to be another black eye on this city. That we got the assistance that we needed, and we did nothing with it.
Did nothing.
So I'm gonna ask you. Let me ask Greg this, and Jet and everybody else in the comment. GKP was good, man. Good to see you in the building. Some people coming in later had stuff to do. Appreciate you coming in. So what would y'all rather have? And this is an honest question. Not so. Would you rather have the state just send money for Memphis and the politicians that we know to just do what they feel needs to be done with it, or would you rather what's happening now? Do you think one is better than the other? Do you trust our elected officials enough to handle the situation? That's what they're telling us, at least some of them.
Send us the money, send us the resources. What have you done with the resources that have been sent here?
Well,
nothing.
According to them, they said they ain't got nothing from the state.
Okay, I couldn't wait for you to ask that, to be honest.
Okay.
All right. So first off, as a citizen, for me, from my couch right here in my house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I don't know what's been sent to us, to my city leaders. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's not been enough transparency.
Yeah.
So if the federal government sends something, okay, it can't be on the hush hush. It's got to be on the up and let everybody know what's been sent. Right. Now, if you send it with the directions, a recipe on a food box. Send it for everybody to see it so we can all read it. Now here's what cannot happen. Mm-hmm. It cannot be red or blue. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what can happen.
It can't be party.
That's what we can have. Now, going forward, if you decide that the only way to help out the states and the city municipalities is for the federal government to step in and put in their little allotment, okay, let us know about it.
Hey, Greg, let me ask you this. And what did you say? I know when what my parents used to do, and when they would give us something or give us an opportunity to do something, and then we turn around and then want to know, well, why didn't you give me more? You know what they would say? You didn't eat what you had last time, so why do you want more? I mean, what do you want me to just?
I don't know what they had the last.
Well, whatever they had, it must have not been used right, because evidently the federal government's been keeping up with it, and so they have to decide. So, okay, you guys it's not working what we're giving you, or you're not making it work. So let's come in and do this and get this thing in order the way we know that hopefully it'll get it in order, and then we can and somebody can be there from the federal agencies. They can train you how and what to do with the resources that you have. That would make the difference, because somebody don't know how to use the resources. It's got to be. Okay, so I mean, so asking for more cereal in the bowl, when you still got a 3/4 bowl full of cereal. What are you asking for more? Eat what you got first, and if you need some more, then I'll give it to you.
You can never get too much Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah. Okay. You understand my point.
From this point of view, how do we know what's been sent? We don't know.
You don't know. We don't know. The people of Memphis don't know. But the governments or the leaders of the city know what's being sent. And if the money's being sent and they're still crying for resources, then evidently somebody above them is saying you're not using wisely what you do have, and so why should we send you more, because you're not using it correctly. So I mean, I'm not going to give you another sandwich if you hadn't eaten the first one. Well, give me another sandwich. You still got a half a sandwich left.
But I guess Greg said we don't know how many sandwiches they eat.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't know what to do with it.
$150 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they sent $250 million for, okay, so you need $50 million for streets.
Mm-hmm.
You need $50 million for the other infrastructure. Okay, you need another $50 million for upkeep to parks and recreation, right? So we're already up to $150 million, right? So that means you only got $100 million left to do whatever else the rest of the city needs, right? What if it's just simply not enough?
Okay, so
and honestly, that's
okay. You got $100 million left, so they don't know where to get started with that $100 million to do something with it, or they can't do anything.
What if it costs instead of $50 million for the streets to repave and all that? What if it costs $115 million instead of 50?
Well, here again, Greg, it goes back to, I think, priorities. I mean, what do you need worse? What do you need more? Do you need?
Okay,
I mean, okay, no.
Like
do you need Bartlett Highway or Bartlett Cut? What is that road up there? You need what's the name of that road? Stage road. Okay, it's good, it's smooth, and then you're gonna turn around and spend some thousands or more dollars to run over that road again? No, you save that money because the road is pretty fun. It's good. It's not bad. So I think people are doing things sometimes to keep just doing something in places where they don't need to do it, and they need to use the money wisely. And
I think that's true.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like an absentee parent, right? Mm-hmm. I don't live in a house, right? I don't live in a household. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the daily usage is of everything. So, but I'm going to send you, a predetermined amount because that's what I think needs to be, spent on this, and this.
Right.
But I don't live there.
Mm-hmm. And, so
how could I possibly know what's exactly needed for XYZ if I don't live there?
Well, I mean, when they spend the money, it's got to be accounted for, or they have to record, okay, what the money is doing. Where don't they have to do that?
There goes it right there. Now that's the elephant in the room right there.
Okay.
That's the elephant in the room.
And just real quick to that elephant.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is why I still don't have a huge problem with the National Guard, because all the stuff we're talking about, we don't know. And I think there's reasons why we don't. I remember when Mayor Young first got in, not that he's been there long, but there's this whole thing about missing money. You know, and then what's going on with MATA and money missing. And then everybody quitting. And all this stuff going on. Like, it's little things like that. And then you look at the Memphis Shelby County School Board. And, they fire, they force out the superintendent over quote-unquote money that they said, and then come to find out with the audit that the school board knew about, not only knew about that money that she got, they used the money. So then they lied about that. So you got all these people in leadership positions saying, I don't know what happened to this. I don't know what, it was something, wasn't it something with the city's money, like $60 million or something was missing? They don't know where it went. So
somebody knew.
Somebody know.
Fred, you there?
I think he's off.
You still there, Fred?
He's gone. I don't see him on here. He may be trying to get back on, but he's not on there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Somebody knew. Hey, look. Hey, John, I'm going to say this, and I got to jump off myself, but look.
Yeah.
I was speaking to somebody over back in spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's married to somebody that's with the school board and all that, with Miss Fagans and all that, that's what happened, right?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you. So what the guy told me was, which I kind of had to figure myself, it was that what she was doing, she was cutting out somebody's gravy train.
Exactly.
Yeah. I believe that.
And that's why they had a problem with it.
And I'm gonna tell you.
And the gentleman, he straight up told me, and I was talking to him, and he was talking about his wife's job with the city schools.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he asked her, was her job necessary? She said no. But she was still trying to hang on to that high-end job.
Look, I know.
And that's what we were dealing with.
I'm going to tell you, to your point, man, I know, you saw when she came in and was firing a bunch of people. You saw right then a lot of folks were ticked off because, hey, you fired my buddy, you fired my friend. And I think that's when the plot started. Because you know how Memphis is, to be honest, when you talk about Yeah, absolutely. Putting people in positions that don't need it, creating positions that didn't need to be there.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Me started on that.
You know, ain't no telling what's.
Nobody wants to lose money. Nobody.
So
you know, so you gonna cut somebody off on the gravy train on biscuit wheels? Nah, they ain't doing it.
And you know who put it there? Because the water is always.
The water is fine.
See there?
Yeah. As long as you ain't paying for it. It tastes fine.
Yeah.
Hey, look, fellas, I got to run.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Talking to y'all, man. I always love talking to y'all.
Yes,
look,
sir.
Man, hey, look, I'm talking from both sides of my mouth at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want the National Guard here simply because it makes the city look bad, but I want them here because it'll help.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. I get
All right. That's the way I'm going with it. You know.
Yeah, Greg, we appreciate you, sir.
Great stuff as always, brother.
All right, man. Hey, look, y'all have a good night.
Yes,
You
you
too,
too.
man.
All right. Wow. That's gonna do it for us tonight, Josh.
Yeah, man.
We had a pretty good show, and people spoke and what they thought and think and don't like and do like, and well, we're gonna see.
Some of what Greg said, I'll tell you what it was.
Something's wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I laugh at that every time I hear it. Anyway, hey, it's been a wonderful time to be with you guys tonight. We appreciate you listening and watching.
And I'm glad y'all just stuck through the tech difficulties. It sounds perfect. I'm glad we were able to fix that because we had some great guests and they did great today.
Yeah, they did great. We want to thank Attorney Richard Dunnell from Jackson, Tennessee. And he's city councilman also for the 4th District of Jackson. And among other things, the
special advisor to the president
of Lane College. And on top of all that, he's a good dear friend of mine.
Yes, sir. And
thank Dr. Fred Tappan, also good friend of mine. And man, I'm telling you, what a doctor he is.
Yeah.
Fred Tappan can tell you some words and bring up some stuff, and you say, where'd that word come from? But anyway.
Hey, shout out to him too. His pastoral anniversary at Eureka True Vine is coming up this weekend.
Yes.
29 years.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his wife.
Yeah.
In Whitehaven, right in the middle of Whitehaven.
In the middle of Whitehaven.
Yeah.
And, we've been to his church many times. And,
we went at services, Bible study, and
wrestling.
Bluff City Wrestling, if y'all remember. We were announcers, had several events there as well. So.
Yeah. So thank you guys, those guys, for being with us tonight and all your comments. People have a lot of comments and phone calls. And so, hey, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back on again soon and talk about some other things that are going on. And
the water is fine.
Yeah, there you go. See, we got to go now.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful and blessed evening tonight, and take care of yourself. We'll talk to you next time.
We're going to close the doors behind us.
Yeah.
I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
All right. We'll see y'all. I had to get some of my sounds in there, man. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye-bye.